Hi, this is Hank reporting from Kyiv, and this is my update on Russian-Ukrainian war. Let's see what happened around Ukraine in the last 24 hours. The largest missile attack. Independence Day. Distant oil refinery hit. Holiday weekend events in Ukraine. On Monday, Russia started working week with the most massive attack on Ukraine with missiles and drones. This attack has become the most massive in the entire history of the country. From Sunday night and during the next day, Russians launched 266 units of deadly flying weapons at us. In this picture, you can see everything that we were able to shoot down. Yes, these are all intercepted targets. There are 201 units here. We shot down one supersonic Kinjal out of 3 flying at us, one supersonic X-22 missile out of 3, one of 6 Iskander ballistic missiles and North Korean KN-23. We periodically see missiles from North Korea which Kim gave to Putin in exchange for food. You understood correctly, Russians paid with food to the starving North Korea and received in return deadly missiles to kill our civilians. We live in a comedy movie The Dictator by Seth Rogen, but in reality, with cruise missiles and Iranian drones things are better. We shot down 99 out of 115 and 99 drones out of 109. They are easier to intercept and their flight speed is much lower. In addition, the ballistic trajectory is difficult to calculate. Analysts have found out that this attack cost Russians about $1,260 million. At least 6 different types of missiles plus drones were used in this attack. Each has a different speed, altitude, trajectory, and simply unrealistic to imagine how our air defense coped with all this because 85% of success. In conditions when missiles fly such a large territory with an angle of 270 degrees. It's a miracle. Let me remind you that this time Poland did not shoot down a Russian drone on its territory due to bad weather. And these are the statistics from Monday night to Tuesday. I spent the whole night in the corridor behind 2 walls and barely had 4 hours of sleep or so in my bed. Over the past 24 hours, my home in Kyiv had no water, communication, or electricity. In total, there was light for about 2 hours out of 24 hours, and all the batteries were dead. Yeah, of course, this is annoying and takes away energy before the workday, but at the same time, we have already experienced this. The winter of 2022 was much harder in moral terms. It was dark, cold, and we had much fewer air defense systems, while Russians had a seemingly endless arsenal of missiles. Thanks to the help of the whole world, literally this is not a figure of speech, we were able to shoot down 85% of these threats. This doesn't mean that we are so unique. This is a common achievement that saves lives. Nevertheless, there were missed missiles and drones, and in 2 days Russians killed a dozen of civilians and wounded about 100. In particular, they destroyed a hotel in Refinery city when people were just sleeping in their beds. On this map, analysts have drawn approximate flight paths to this entire horde of missiles and drones. Green straight arrows are Kinjals and supersonic X-22s. As you can see, they do not maneuver but simply attack the target at super speed. These missiles are one of the most powerful weapons that Putin has at the moment. What is interesting here is that for the first time since the beginning of full-scale invasion, Russians attacked the Transcarpathian region near the border with Hungary, due to the fact that there is mountain terrains out there and this is the most remote region from Russia. In this video you can see the work of emergency service and doctors who are helping the victims. The video shows a residential building, the upper floors of which were damaged by Russian missile. I think it's difficult to surprise viewers with some new video of destroyed Ukrainian houses and crying people now. Everyone is just used to this happening. I know that Reuters employee was killed in one of these attacks and Reuters didn't state by a Russian missile but mentioned some missile. A so politically correct statement. In this video you can see the damaged part of the Kyiv Hydroelectric power station, the dam that generates electricity for the capital. Russian terrorists deliberately attacked it with missiles. Let me remind you that a year earlier they blew up the Kherson hydroelectric power station from the inside in the south. This is pure terrorism. As a child I played the game Rainbow Six, where a special forces group destroyed masked terrorists who were seizing the dam with weapons. Now terrorists from Russia have captured the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, Zaporizhzhia NPP, blown up the dam in Kherson and are hitting the dam in Kyiv region with missiles. And the whole world is not really reacting to these events. This casual Russian terrorism is not something special anymore. On August 24, we celebrated the 33rd day of Ukraine's independence and the third independence day during the war for this independence. Literally. This is probably the biggest holiday for every Ukrainian now, and it's very symbolic. New Year and Christmas are not perceived in the same way as a day that reminds us that we are still a free country. This is a reminder that today we can hold our flag and speak our language and not look at the tricolor and listen to Putin's lies on TV. Freedom is not free and we pay a lot for it. All Saturday I was depressed because of this understanding of how much we have already given to celebrate this holiday, and I'm afraid to count the dead whom I knew. This will have to be done after the victory and the liberation of Mariupol, because I still do not know which of my friends died and under what circumstances. My family lost at least 4 people since the beginning of the full-scale war in 2022. I lost 2 apartments and all material values that I had, all my artifacts from my childhood. In my house where I was born, 7 cats were burned alive, and it seems that someone else died. I don't know yet the details. This war is the biggest shock for millions of people who simply lost their usual life and loved ones, and I can imagine that someone can justify this crime against humanity. That's why it's hard for me to enjoy the Independence Day, even though it's very important. The President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, flew to us for the celebration. I'm glad to see him here, and it seems that the relations between the presidents have improved, because a year ago there were some misunderstandings, but on this day both look happy at the public ceremony. I've always said that I'm very grateful to the Poles for the support they have given us since the beginning of this invasion. I hope we will always get along well in the future. The head of the Lithuanian government, Ingrida Šimonytė, also honored us with her presence, and I want to say that, again, despite dozens of greetings from the world leaders, the personal arrival of 2 top politicians for this holiday during a war and increased danger is an important step. The Baltic countries are also very actively supporting us, and I really want us to have more ties with these good neighbors and not with what surrounds us from the north and east. This is a screenshot from official Twitter, Twitter of Iran, and Iran congratulates Ukraine with the day of the independence. Yeah, just like this. I once had a dream to travel around all the countries of the world, but now I'm sure that I'm not going to Iran and Belarus. I'm disgusted to see their pathetic attempts to show themselves as normal countries. You're a damn dictatorship and contribute to the death of peaceful Ukrainians. I want to see how you'll pay for your complicity in the crime. Lukashenko will face his personal tribunal if this cockroach lives to see that time, because without Putin's army he has no chance. The only thing missing here is idiot Kim with his ballistics he gives Putin. Short news. We hit one of the largest Russian oil refineries with drones, the Omsk plant, which processes as much as 8% of all Russian oil. As a result of the explosion in the plant, one of the largest primary oil refining units was disabled, which, as we know, Russians themselves will not be able to either restore or replace due to sanctions. In addition to the fact that this is a strategically important plant for Putin, it's also located at distance as much as 2,600 kilometers, which means that we have again pushed back the record range of destruction by plus 800 kilometers from the previous one. President Zelensky also reported that we have successfully tested our own ballistic missile. While the West is afraid to give permission to strike Russian military airfields deep in the country with a 40-year-old missiles, we took the only right path. We made our own missile, so as not to ask anyone for permission and not lose precious time and lives of our people because of this hesitation. Good job. On Sunday, after the Independence Day celebration, I decided to put myself together and went to the shoot at 7 a.m. to take my mind off things. For me, the best therapy is work. When I work, I feel normal. And so I was shooting a marathon run in embroidered shirts, traditional Ukrainian shirts with patterns. All the money from the participants goes to charity. I also shoot this for free. In general, we do a lot of things this way. We generate donations to support the army and volunteer fundraisers by any possible means. I really like the type of this man in the embroidered shirt. I love photographing people and catching emotions, and it charges me up when the event is positive. Therefore, this part of my work is a real pleasure and kind of a therapy. This is how I explain to myself why I spend time and resources on this. On Sunday, we had no shelling, and I shot 3 events. This is a weekly demonstration of families of prisoners of war who are very upset that The last exchange of 115 prisoners did not include a single Azov fighter who has been in Russian prison for more than 2 years. People demand justice. The mood of the people is about the same as this young lady. You can read it yourself from the expression on her face. I really like the picture. I sent the material to the Getty agency in New York. I hope this picture will make it to the news. It's very expressive. Now, after we captured a large number of Russian conscripts, there will be an opportunity to exchange them for defenders of Mariupol, whom the Russians do not give up without explanation. Now I'm reading a book by Viktor Frankl in which he tells about his experience of surviving in a Nazi concentration camp, and I compare it with what my friends who came out of Russian captivity say, and I frankly don't see much difference. The same humiliation, the same abuse, starvation and constant pressure. The only difference is that I haven't heard about the gas chambers. Damn it, that's the only difference, you understand? I hope we can exchange all the prisoners while they are still alive. This is where I'll finish today's video. I've had no power for 2 days in a row, literally 4 hours out of 48 hours. There was electricity and it's very difficult to do anything in such conditions. But yeah, I barely had some normal sleep and I wrote the text for this video in fragments in different places, and I'm glad I managed to film it while there was power. I don't know what will happen in the future. They say the winter will be tough. If I live that long, I'll solve the diesel generator issue probably. It sounds a little strange, but hey, the day before yesterday, more than 200 missiles and drones were flying at me. I'm not planning that far ahead. Since I didn't manage to take a vacation in August, I'm thinking of changing something in September. I want to start paid advertising for this channel on YouTube, and maybe I'll be able to gather more people here who will help to take the channel to a new level and start generating some profit from it, so that I have more time to write texts, search for interesting materials, and of course for fundraisers to support of army and volunteers. Thanks to everyone who helps us. You can find all links under this video and in the channel description. This was my update on the Russian-Ukrainian war for day number 916. Take care, and I hope I can make videos every day again and say see you tomorrow.